Hello everyone, so I've been trying to film this video for a while now, but my sewing room is not completely finished. I still need a lot of things for it, like the walls are empty, the floors are empty. You know, I'd like to get like a rug in here, but that's besides the point. But since everybody is currently home, I thought that now would be the perfect time to film this, because basically for the past 6 months-ish, I have been working from home. But when I say working from home, I'm not like, I can't even say like self-employed, because I'm not making any income. Well, I am, but not from fashion design. I have another job. The beginning of the videos are always the roughest, because it's like I have so much I want to say that it's just hard to like start to get it all out. Okay, anyway, that I am a fashion designer. I have a degree in fashion design. However, I live in Texas now, where there's not really a big need for fashion designers. There's not really many jobs here. By many, I say like 0 jobs here, especially the area that I live in, Texas. So currently I have been the goal with my fashion design career has always been to launch my own brand, to have my own online store, to be able to sell the clothes that I design, sew, create, bring to life. So thankfully, my husband and I have a house. I have a room dedicated for me to, you know, make that dream come true, to really start my career, to start my business, to start my brand. So if you watch any of my other vlogs, that's what I mean when I say I work from home as a fashion designer, because I've been sewing like crazy, designing like crazy, and it's all to benefit my future brand. So anyhow, I have been working from home, designing, sewing, all of that stuff for like 6-7 months now. And I've gotten into a pretty good routine where I can be productive and get a lot done. So I thought that I would kind of share what I do and how I am a fashion designer working from home. I mean, I'm throwing out the term fashion designer very loosely, because I mean, I'm not currently employed as a fashion designer, but I think I'd like to be considered a fashion designer. I mean, I'm doing everything a fashion designer does, I'm just not being paid for it. Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. First thing I'm gonna start with something that took me a long time to learn that I still don't have down. So I'll show you my studio, my sewing room in a second. Don't judge too harshly. I know it's a mess. I'm just like, I could probably win awards for being the messiest person ever, especially, I'm sure you know, if you are a sewer or an artist or something, it's very messy work, especially when you get into the zone. You know, you start cutting fabric, you start drawing, tearing paper, pattern paper, muslin, markers, scissors, pins, literally just everywhere. And you need a lot of space to like lay things out, so there's just always stuff everywhere. So it's very easy to mess up your workspace. It's so easy. So I've noticed that I tend to put off cleaning it and put off cleaning it and put off cleaning it until it's literally a complete disaster, to the point where I don't feel motivated to come in here and work. Like, I'll keep putting it off because when I come in here, it's just such a mess. It like stresses me out. So that is such a huge thing, to have your workspace clean, or at least somewhat organized if you can. And like I said, I noticed that I'm a lot more unmotivated to work. My sewing room is a mess. If you have a clean workspace, then you have a clean head, more of a stress-free mindset, and it's easier to be motivated to come in here. You want to come in here, it makes you want to be in here when it's nice and clean and cute, and it motivates you to want to come in here and work. When I come into my sewing room in the morning, the first thing I do is write out a list. Now I have a planner that I use And I will open up my planner and start making a list. Go to today and decide what I need to get done. Just take everything that's in my head, bundled up in my head, stressed about of everything that I need to get done, and put it down onto paper. Now this is something that I go into very detail with. Like if I'm currently sewing a garment. So today when I go to sew this garment, I will see where I left off and I'll make a list. When I first start sewing a garment, when I'm, have the pattern made, have the fabric cut out, and it's time to sew it, I make a list, a step-by-step list of things that I need to do. And this is so important because it's so easy to be excited about it, be like, okay, I'm halfway there, I just gotta put the garment together. And you just, zip it through your sewing machine and wanna sew it. And it's easy to like, forget, a tiny little step. Oh, I had to clip this corner, I forgot that, It's easy to make little mistakes that really screw you over in the long run. So for each garment, I make out like a detailed list of step-by-step instructions, like for myself on how I want to sew it. And obviously, because there's different ways that you can sew garments, there's a lot of different sewing techniques. So by writing this down, it also helps me choose like which is the best way for this specific garment to be made. And I noticed when I write down these steps, it also makes, because a lot of times I'll like put off working on a garment if I don't really know where to start, or if I feel too overwhelmed with it, then I'll just put off sewing it. But I found a way around that by doing a step-by-step list, and it makes it feel less daunting by breaking each step down. And it just really ensures that you don't make any mistake. And also, like, just making lists helps you feel more accomplished. You get to check off, which it might sound stupid, but you get to literally like check off each step. By making a list, it also, helps you feel more accomplished when you look down the list and you're like, I've literally gotten more than half of this list done. I only have like 3 more steps to go. It kind of helps you have a sense of time and where you are at with the garment. And motivates you to be like, oh, I only have 3 steps left, let's pound it out, So what I do as a designer right now is I am more of a sewing and construction type of designer rather than, an art, specializing in art. So I just always have been. I've been sewing my whole life, even in college. Drawing was never, I learned how to draw and my skills improved a lot, but it was never something that just came easy to me. When I'm in my sewing room working every day, it's usually sewing. Now, however, if I was, working from home as a fashion designer and I wanted to commission out some of my artwork or some of my designs, then I would obviously spend more time specializing in art and putting more time into my artwork and my sketches and my designs. Well, I still put a lot of work into my designs, but I just design in my head rather than on paper. I'm the type of designer that I kind of design almost as I go. I'll have an idea in my head and I'll just do fabric manipulation and draping, and that's kind of how I design, by testing things out, see what looks the best to me. So when I do sketch, so this is a tip if you are having trouble, pounding those garments out, or even if you have a design block, which happens a lot, a mental block where you just are not feeling inspired or motivated at all, is doing quick sketches. I'm talking, take a pen, just a regular ink pen, this one's fluffy, and just pound out some super messy. This is what I do for all of my garments. I just find literally just any piece of scrap paper and I just sketch on it. And I just make sure that obviously the sketch makes sense to me. Yeah, but I just like to do little quick sketches, and if you have a design block, it's easy to just do super quick messy sketches to do different variations of the same design, just to get it all out of your head and get your creative juices flow. I don't know. Okay, so another tip, little thing that I do, I don't take a lunch break or take breaks in here. It's so important for me to consider this place my workspace for me to walk in here and have the mindset, okay, let's get work done. Because when I lived in New York, obviously I had a teeny tiny New York apartment, so my table and my machines, my ironing board was on the back of my door, and my bed was basically right beside my table with my sewing machines on it. So it was easy to get distracted, to just sit down on my bed, eat a little meal, scroll on my phone, take a nap, while I'm just like staring at the garment that I've been struggling to work at, laying in my bed, not wanting to get up and work on it. So I struggled a lot more when it was all my living space was the same as my workspace. Now, obviously, I didn't have that luxury in New York as I do in Texas, so I'm thankful that I can have an entire room just dedicated to my sewing. Yeah, but I think that's basically everything that I wanted to touch on, but it can be hard to work from home because you don't have, all the space that you could have at like a studio, a professional studio, or like your school workrooms. It's a lot harder to be motivated to work at home when it is your own home and your living space. But you really just have to get into routine. You really just have to get into a routine of it and plan things out. I definitely recommend getting like a planner, a lifesaver, especially with me trying to launch my own brand and my own company, that the scheduling is entirely up to me. So I try to like keep track, like, okay, I'm going to start working on this garment on this day and I need to be finished with it by this day. Okay, today I am going to work on my online store. Today I'm going to work on the layout. Today I'm going to work on the brand image, the logo. I'm going to edit some photo shoot pictures. So I definitely recommend making lists, staying organized, getting a planner. Yeah, I just wanted to share a little insight of what it's like for me to do fashion design from my home. Yeah, so that's it. Feel free to leave any questions down below, but thanks for watching.